Final update. My fiance said, "My parents think you're not good enough. We need a break." I calmly replied, "I understand." Then I cashed out my share from the joint account we were using for the wedding she'd already secretly cancelled. Her break became permanent and expensive. Part 3. There's nothing to discuss. Your sister made choices. She's living with them. I suggest you and your parents help her sort out her finances since you were also instrumental in her decisions. She's your fiancé, or was. You have a moral obligation, he blustered, voice rising. People were starting to look. No, Brandon, I don't. My only obligation was to a partnership, and she dissolved that without telling me. The only thing I did to your sister was refuse to pay for her mistakes. Excuse me? I got up and left. He looked like he was about to explode. Let him. The fallout for Nicole, from what I've pieced together from the edges of our now severed social circles, has been significant. The thousands she claimed to have fronted for various wedding bits and pieces? Turns out many of those were put on a credit card, her credit card, with a hefty interest rate. The vendors she ghosted after canceling, some of them were small businesses. They pursued their cancellation fees as they should. The pressure from her parents is apparently immense. Not in a supportive way, but in an Angela is mortified by this public failure and Stephen hates wasting money kind of way. They're probably helping her financially, but I guarantee it comes with a lifetime supply of "I told you so" and "how could you be so foolish?" Her grand vision of a perfect wedding, likely bankrolled by a combination of my savings and her parents' desire for status, imploded. She's left holding the bag for all the pieces she tried to keep juggling after she'd already dropped the main one. I did get one final unexpected email from Amy, Nicole's best friend. "Justin, I know I was pretty awful in some of my comments. I only heard Nicole's side, and she was very convincing. I've started to see things a bit differently. She's a mess, and honestly, she's not taking much responsibility. Just wanted to say, I get it now. Sorry." Didn't reply to that either. But it was something. So, the revenge, it wasn't loud. It wasn't explosive. It was just me calmly stepping out of the line of fire and letting the shrapnel from her own grenade hit her. She wanted a break. Thought I wasn't good enough. Fine. She got to see what good enough for her parents' standards would actually cost when my contribution was removed from the equation. It was expensive. Very. Final update. It's been nearly 5 months since that last phone call with Nicole and about 7 since my world tilted on its axis. Figured I owed a final update to those who follow this mess. Life moves on. It's quieter now. The anger has mostly faded, replaced by a kind of weary pragmatism. I don't rejoice in Nicole's financial struggles, but I don't lose sleep over them either. She built that bed. She's sleeping in it. From what little I hear through the grapevine, it's a small world. Even when you try to shrink yours, Nicole is still dealing with the financial fallout. She had to move back in with Stephen and Angela for a while to save money, which I imagine is its own special kind of hell for all involved. The dream wedding debt is apparently a sore subject. She's working, but those vendor cancellations and perhaps some ill-advised spending in the immediate aftermath of our split hit her hard. There's no talk of her dating anyone new. I suspect her confidence, and perhaps her parents' willingness to fund another social experiment, took a beating. Angela and Stephen Hawthorne are, from all accounts, back to their usual selves, probably lamenting their daughter's choices and subtly, or not so subtly, blaming everyone but themselves for their part in pressuring her. Brandon, I've heard, still thinks I'm a villain, but his opinion matters less to me than the price of coffee. As for me, the $25,000 I'd withdrawn from the joint account in the very beginning went straight back into my savings where it belonged. I kept the engagement ring. It's in a safe deposit box. Maybe one day I'll sell it. Or maybe it'll just be a very expensive reminder. Haven't decided. The "not good enough" line still echoes sometimes, usually when I'm tired or a sad song comes on the radio. It's a scar, I guess. It made me reevaluate a few things. Made me more cautious. Trust is a fragile thing, easily broken, harder to rebuild. I've been on a few dates. Nothing serious. I'm not in a rush. There was no dramatic courtroom showdown, no public shaming beyond what she brought on herself. My revenge, if you can call it that, was simply to hold her accountable to her own actions. I didn't stoop to her level. I didn't engage in mudslinging. I just stated facts, protected my assets, and walked away. Her entitlement, her lies, and her parents' snobbery created a perfect storm. And all I did was refuse to be its funding source. The most satisfying part? Knowing I handled it with a calm I didn't know I possessed, that I didn't let them break me down or manipulate me further. The moral justification was always clear. She lied. She deceived. She tried to make me pay for it. I simply said no. So yeah, life isn't a fairy tale. Sometimes the princess reveals herself to be more interested in the royal treasury than the prince. And sometimes the not good enough guy turns out to be good enough to see through the deception and walk away with his dignity and his savings intact. It's not a happy ending in the traditional sense. A 4-year relationship ended in a pretty ugly way, but it's a real ending, and I'm okay. I'm moving forward. That in itself feels like a victory.